Here we have our very own secondary ferment kombucha, a fizzy, fruity, amazing, delicious drink that everybody in the family is gonna love, huh?
Yeah.
Do you like that? Isn't it yummy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? As warm weather approaches and we're starting to work harder outside, I love to get a great supply of healthy beverages on hand for those hot days when we're working and we need to replenish our bodies with a little more than just water. This is a secondary ferment kombucha, and this is one of our family's favorite ways to get great probiotics and enzymes into our diet every single day. Making kombucha can be kind of complicated, kind of scary, but I like to use the continuous brew method here, and it makes it incredibly simple. All I do to start my kombucha is to make a sweet tea. I use a gallon of water and pour that over 6 black organic tea bags. I then stir in 1 cup of sugar, and yes, the sugar's important because that's exactly what the kombucha is going to be metabolizing and what's going to give it that wonderful kick and turn it into kombucha. I then pour that into my continuous brew container that has a little bit of leftover kombucha and the kombucha mother in it. If you want to know more about making kombucha in this way, just check out the video that I have for you here. It'll explain all the different steps to it. But what we're talking about today comes after that primary ferment, or that first step where we're just making the kombucha. And this is where we're going to turn our kombucha from plain old kombucha into a fizzy, fruity, amazing, delicious drink that everybody in the family is gonna love, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, today Rebecca is helping me here in the kitchen, and we're gonna be making our kombucha. Do you like kombucha?
Downstairs kitchen, your kitchen.
Mm-hmm. In the downstairs kitchen, yes, the downstairs kitchen. What kind of kombucha do you like best?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, but not the rotten ones.
Not the rotten ones. That would be fair. I don't like the rotten ones either. Do we get rotten kombucha? No?
No.
But you wouldn't like it if it went rotten?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like it.
You wouldn't like it, okay. All right. Well, let's jump right in. Taking kombucha as it comes out of the primary fermenters and turning it into a secondary ferment is kind of like magic in the kitchen. This is a place where it gets really good. But in order to get something fizzy and delicious, you really need one really important thing. Aside from your good kombucha, you need some sort of an airtight container. Now, I like using these swing neck bottles with these tops on them. They just lock down and they're really easy to pour out of. These bottles are so great because they lock down airtight. They are easy to pour out of, and in the case that you accidentally over sugar your kombucha and it gets really fizzy, your bottle's not gonna burst, your top's just gonna pop off. That is a thing, it can really happen, but it's not gonna happen to you if you follow the directions, okay? Today we're making my favorite flavor of kombucha, and that is a cherry almond kombucha. Now, this is kind of like drinking a Dr. Pepper for those of you guys who have had soda. Have you ever had a Dr. Pepper? Do you know what that is?
It's a kind of drink.
It is a kind of drink. Very good. You got it. We're going to start with a little bit of fruit. Now, when you're turning this into something fizzy like this, you need to add something with a little bit of sugar. That's going to kick off that fermentation process again and give carbon dioxide as a byproduct of that, and that's what's going to create the bubbles. So you have to get something in there. Your fruit, if you're using fruit as a flavoring, that will give you a little bit of sugar, but it often doesn't give you enough to get a really good carbonation if that's what you're looking for. So we're actually going to add, excuse me, a little bit of sugar in there also. Here are some freeze-dried cherries. You can use dehydrated cherries. You can use all sorts of different things, and it doesn't have to be cherries. You can come up with your very own delicious flavorings. But because I'm gonna put these into this smallmouth bottle, I do like to crunch them up just a little bit. You can certainly use a jar for this, a mason jar with a tight fitting lid. Just realize that if you overbuild pressure in a mason jar, when it's locked down, you will have an explosion. Ask me how I know. Just enough to make it getting back out of there easy. This is about 1/4 cup. You really don't have to be super exacting in this. We're gonna drop this in here. Now, I'm not ready for that one. You wanna help me though, put these in?
Sure.
You can help drop these right in there. There we go. That's okay. It's all right if they go off to the side. Is it yummy? These cherries are right off our tree last season, and it's so fun to be able to freeze dry them and have them taste absolutely phenomenal at the end of the season. All the way through winter here. But I really like dehydrated cherries too, and they work really well. So we're getting all of that in there. It just takes a second. And now I'm going to take just a little bit of almond extract. By just a little bit, I mean half a teaspoon. You can really do this part to taste. There we go. Oh, I love that smell. Again, you can come up with your own flavoring combinations. You could use vanilla. You could use chocolate extract if you wanted to right here. That could be absolutely amazing. Now we're going to use about half a teaspoon of sugar. And yes, this is actually evaporated cane juice crystals. You want to use a real sugar of some sort. Don't use a stevia, a monk fruit. Don't use any of those things. If it's not going to raise your blood sugar, then it's not going to feed the probiotics. Now, the good news is this is going to get mostly metabolized in this process. There will be much less sugar by the time you go to drink this than there was that we just put in there, but there are going to be a lot of bubbles. Can you put the funnel in for me?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to add our kombucha right on in there.
Now some kombucha.
Mm-hmm. We'll try some in just a minute.
It sounds like it's burping and saying roar.
Sounds like it's saying roar.
Yeah, and burping.
That took about 4 cups of kombucha to fill that bottle all the way up to this point. We could put a little bit more in here if we wanted. Just make sure you fill it mostly to the top of your vessel. That way that carbonation starts to fill up the vessel itself. Now we're gonna lock it down. Whoop, just like that. And we're gonna let it sit out on our warm kitchen counter for about 3 to maybe even 5 days. Check it every so often and see if it looks like it's starting to get fizzy and if the color's changing. You can see this one right here. I don't think the cherries got crunched up in this one, but this one has changed colors. It's been sitting for several days straight now. It's fizzy. I can see bubbles in it rising. We are ready to open this one up and give it a try. Oh, look, you can see there's a lot of carbonation coming up in here. This one's nice and full. It's time to go ahead and strain this off. Now, there are easier ways to strain it than this, but this is the way we tend to do it in the house, is with a little funnel and right into an additional swing top bottle just for the sake of serving. Now, usually we do this over a sink, so we'll see if I can do it and not make too much of a mess. that smells so incredibly good. It smells like a Dr. Pepper. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say about it. It smells really good. I love that. It gets a little tangier smelling as it sits, and the cherry definitely starts to come out. Are you excited to try some?
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna be good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there we have it. We have a little bit more in the bottle. You can get some cups out there. And here we have our very own secondary ferment kombucha. Not that hard. Did you see how easy that was? Once you get over the actually making the kombucha, the rest of it's very, very simple. But oh, what does that smell like? Can you smell that?
Mm-hmm. It still smells like Dr. Pepper.
Still smells like Dr. Pepper. Okay, sounds good. All right, you ready to try some?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is really good over ice, but just remember, I never recommend that kombucha be consumed in large quantities. Just a couple ounces at a time, right at mealtime, is the way it was originally intended and the way that it is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that? Isn't it yummy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Is that your favorite flavor?
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite flavor. Okay, let's try. That is so refreshing, and it's so delicious, and it's amazingly good for you. Okay, now if you guys want to make this even easier, I've got to show you where I figured out how to use dried fruit for my secondary ferments, and that is from one of my favorite companies. This is Farmhouse Teas. Now, this is not a sponsored post or anything like that. We just really love this small family business, and this is what we actually use in our own home. And they make this really easy by getting you little kits. All the flavorings are already included, and you just put a teaspoon of the flavoring into every 16 ounces of your bottle of original primary ferment kombucha. Let it ferment for 3 to 5 days. If you want to add a little bit of that sugar in there, that half teaspoon of sugar, you can absolutely do that to kick up the carbonation. And this makes it so much easier. They have great flavors like roseberry flavoring, apple pie flavoring. They even started making a cherry almond kombucha after I told them it was my absolute favorite. This is my second favorite, strawberry mojito flavoring. They have a lot of them, so go check them out. I got you guys a really special coupon code though, because I know you're gonna love it. So check out Farmhouse Teas and their kombucha secondary ferment flavoring. And if you wanna get started making kombucha today with the continuous brew method to make it easy for your home, then check out this video right here. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.